Hello, my name is Khia Hudgins-Smith. I'm a clinical counselor in ETSU's Counseling Center and advocate for DEI awareness on campus and in our surrounding community. Today, I'm here to speak about lenses of clarity. What does that mean? Well, if you wear corrective eyewear, you know that wearing a prescription that is either too strong or too weak results in blurry vision. We are humans from many different backgrounds with varying perspectives, values, and beliefs. However, as a collective of professionals within the healthcare system, if your views of one another skew, it could be the patient who suffers. Today's agenda will include definitions of stereotypes, prejudice, and bias, an exploration of the identity wheel, an understanding of a sense of belonging, and a deeper dive into specific types of biases you might encounter. Stereotypes are generalized beliefs about a particular category of people. For example, all Americans worship Walmart, or all people from the South are slow, stupid, and backward. Notice the absolutes of always, all, and never, as they can indicate a conversation leading into a stereotype. Prejudice means to prejudge or assume something or something about someone without knowing all the facts. I see this on TikTok and other social networking platforms. We as humans tend to jump to conclusions without having all the facts sometimes. The effects could be debilitating when those assumptions correlate with someone's identity, such as age, education, or other personal characteristics. Bias is a tendency to believe that some people, ideas, etc., are better than others, which usually results in mistreating others. I'm a big Alabama football fan, and if you're frowning right now, you're probably biased toward another team, which is okay. We are allowed to disagree. However, my bias to Roll Tide doesn't mean I wouldn't spend time with a friend who disagrees with me, yet some highly biased people might. Kimberly Crenshaw said, "If we cannot see a problem, we cannot fix a problem." Again, let's wipe our lenses and gain clarity. Some of the identities you will look at are race, social class, sexual orientation, differences in abilities, body morphology, religion, faith, ethnicity, nationality/geographic origin, and gender. In life, if specific lived experiences or identities do not apply to our lived experiences or identities, the tendency is to be dismissive. The goal is to understand yourself and to be more open to understanding others. Some questions you can ask yourself are, what identities do I relate to the most? How do those identities affect my interactions with others? And how do certain identities affect my colleagues in the healthcare system? Now let's talk about a sense of belonging. Abraham Maslow, a psychologist focused on humanistic therapy, created the hierarchy of needs. He stated that we have basic physiological needs such as food, shelter, safety, and security, followed by psychological needs such as belongingness, love, prestige, and a feeling of accomplishment. We all want to fit in because it is a part of the human experience to build connections. However, bias can heighten and reinforce stereotypes and prejudices, which can lead to a sense of belonging as well. As Brené Brown stated, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Okay, now let's go deeper into bias. The first one is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias refers to the tendency to seek information that supports your beliefs. There is also an avoidance of any information that could disprove the original point called the ostrich effect. How open are you to debunking what someone says about another profession in the healthcare system? Secondly, there is cultural or implicit bias. Cultural bias involves those who perceive other cultures as being abnormal, outlying, or exotic based on a comparison to their own culture. Unfortunately, cultural or implicit bias contributes to attitudes or stereotypes that can affect or influence our decisions unconsciously. Additionally, most are unaware of the origins of their baseline thinking. Next, there is in-group bias. In-group bias refers to people being more likely to support or believe someone within their social group than an outsider. It removes objectivity as individuals favor those they know and want to help. You might have noticed how this type of bias showed up as you filled out the roles assessment and named different negative stereotypes attributed to each profession. So, how can you disrupt cycles of reinforced narratives of other professions to build bridges? Finally, we have anchoring bias. Anchoring bias pertains to those who rely too heavily on the first piece of information received, an anchoring fact, and base all subsequent judgments or opinions on it. Anytime we come in contact with a new person, place, or thing, we make a judgment. Have you ever been new on a job, met a colleague, had a good experience, then had someone employed longer make a negative statement that altered how you interacted with that colleague moving forward? How can you intentionally not anchor into one idea, but remain flexible? Phew, that was quite a few lenses we cleaned up today. As you continue through your IPE, I encourage you to be a sponge and soak up all the information, ask questions, and challenge yourself to be uncomfortable, because that is where growth and change occur. And as Miss Dolly says, find out who you are and do it on purpose.